Evening, everyone. It's February 2nd. Wow, we are in February already for our LBUSD Board of Education meeting. I'm going to ask our student school board member if you care to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. Thank you, America. We'll hear a little bit more from you in a bit. So, now call this meeting to order. We welcome those, excuse me, who are here for the purposes of addressing the board at the proper time and in the order of their request. If you wish to speak during the meeting, please fill out a form. I have some forms with me indicating your name and the agenda item you wish to address. You may also make a request to give testimony on an item not listed for discussion today. However, full discussion on any items not listed on the agenda will have to be delayed until such a time as the item can be publicly posted in advance as a regular agenda item. If you wish to ask questions, please address them to the chair and not to individual members of the board or the staff. The board has been meeting in closed session regarding matters listed on today's closed session agenda and wishes to report that no reportable actions were taken. Public hearing, we have none today. And so call for agenda items for separate action and adoption of the agenda as posted.
I move adoption of the agenda.
Second.
Any discussion?
Board members, I'd like to request a change to number 10 on the purchasing and contracts report. The funding source for the agreement currently reads Elementary and Secondary Emergency Relief Fund, and we'd like to request a change to General Fund.
Thank you, Ms. Takahashi. So
I amend my motion to approve the agenda as amended.
do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? I will take a roll call. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So that item passes 5-0. Approval of minutes from our January 19th meeting.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that item passes 5-0. And now it's party time with Miss America Garcia, who we saw last week at Jordan High School. America, do you want to give your student board member report to us?
Good evening, everyone. My name is America Garcia, and I'm the student body president at Jordan High School. I'm a senior and in the Ames Medical Academy, and I'm honored to present to you all today. My fellow Panthers and I are so excited to be back on campus full-time. We have had an amazing start to the school year, both academically and athletically. As many of you know, our football team made history this year by making it to the CIF championships. Their success spearheaded a resurgence of supporters from across the city and throughout the state, and it was truly an experience. Academically, our pathways have been expanding and thriving. Ames, LEAPS, and JMAC all increased their class offerings this year, which is great because that allowed for technology upgrades and more work-based learning opportunities. Our ACE pathway was able to establish a partnership with the Port of Long Beach, and we are so excited to utilize the various resources that they provide. One of the best parts of this year has been the change in reputation of Jordan High School. There's a rebranding of our part of the city, Go Uptown, and there are a bunch of new businesses around the school. Things are changing. Jordan's name and our mascot's faces are recognized citywide. It's a group effort, and it's starting to pay off. Last week, we had the honor of hosting many of you at J-Town for a facilities update. It was pretty cool seeing so many directors, leaders, and school board members invested in how our school looks and feels now. On behalf of the students, thank you for allowing us to voice our opinions on about the upcoming phases of construction and overall student life on campus. It has definitely been a transition to being back on campus every day, but I am happy and blessed to be a Jordan Panther. Shout out to the Queen of the North board member, Kerr, and thank you for your time.
Thank you, America. I think I'm noticing some disappointment here that Vice President Kerr didn't wear her sash and crown today. So we had a wonderful time, and I shared that the highlight for me, America, was meeting with you and the other students at your high school, when you had great insights that you provided us. And then the best part for me was that you had a chance to interact with our facilities dream team,
Yes.
right, and provide your insights into what your campus is like. So wondering if you could share just sort of your impressions of your student panel, us, anything from that day that stood out to you, and then I have a follow-up question for you.
In my opinion, I believe it was very important for the students to be able to share their opinions because, and especially from such a variety of students, each one was in a different part of a pathway, and so hearing from the different voices of the school really, I felt like impacted the board.
Thank you, America. I'd actually love to hear from my colleagues since we haven't really had a chance to talk from last week. We have our president here of the student body, and then I have a follow-up question for you. So I'll open it up to my colleagues about our visit.
It's so good to see you again, and thank you for hosting us. I think when I first started on the board in 2014, and I was actually part of the North Long Beach initiative, which I think was 2010 and 11, and it was kind of dreaming up what North Long Beach could be. And to see it come to fruition and to see you living in the spaces that were dreamed up for you was so important, I think, for all of us to remember that it isn't just about what we build, but how you live in it and how you create community around the space. So thank you for just being yourselves and being really honest and open with us about the impacts and the hopes and dreams that you have for the people who are coming behind you. I was really thrilled and touched to hear you talk about what you hope for the Panthers of the future and not just your own experience. So thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you for coming.
Please. So I thought the visit was fabulous. I thought that not only did I learn a lot about Jordan High School, but I learned a lot about the different pathways that you have. I'm very, very impressed with the facilities work on campus and how far along it's got. There's more to be done, but I actually talked to several friends afterwards who had been students at Jordan way back when, and I have a grandson who has just gone through the School of Choice program, and we all had dinner on Saturday night, and I told him about your pathways and what a change has come over Jordan High School, and we all as a district ought to be proud of that. So congratulations.
Thank you.
I just happen to have some notes because I was going to use it in my report, but I might as well share my my thoughts on our visit to Jordan. First of all, thank you. Thank you for hosting us. It was a wonderful, actually kind of a celebration because who knew there was a school board week? I don't know if any of us were aware of that, but that was sure nice. And we were given swag bags and goodies, and I think the highlight for me, of course, was the same for everybody else, where we were hearing from the students, and students were saying, and maybe you were the one that said, we've got to change the narrative. It has to be, people need to see Jordan for what Jordan is today. And also some of the students were saying things like, school is more than academic, and that speaks to the school culture. And the facility improvement leads to self-improvement. And it's good for future generations. And one of the students mentioned that their parents didn't really come to Jordan. They didn't come on campus to Jordan, and they now with the revitalization and modernization, they have pride in Jordan, and now they're looking forward to sending their younger kids to Jordan. And that made a big impact on me because it's not just the pride that the current students have, but it's the impact on future generations. And another observation that I came away with from talking to different staff members is that they want more parent involvement. They want parents to attend things like back to school night and open house, and Jordan has a PTSA. So that's another way parents can be involved. And I think as things are changing, that will improve also, but I would encourage our Jordan parents to come along and enjoy the change, enjoy the new Jordan culture.
America's probably like, I thought I was just going to give a board member report here. America, you shared a little bit about ACE. We ask our student school board members what plans you have after high school upon graduation. Wondering, what your plans are and in what ways your education and ACE, has helped you develop or make those plans.
So my plan is to go to a four-year university and major in biology. So my pathway has really helped me really prove to myself that that's something that I'm really interested in and something that I want to pursue a career in.
Awesome. Any universities, colleges that you have in mind?
My dream is UC Irvine.
Oh, I heard the U. Great option for you. I mentioned that my favorite thing, the highlight for me, was hearing from you and the students and interacting with you. My second favorite thing was having a virtual skeleton between Dr. Baker and I, and Dr. Baker showing me all the intricacies of the human body. Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you, America, and again, thank you for hosting us last week, and thank you for being a student in our district.
Thank you for having me.
And you can, we know it's a school night in America, so if you have to excuse yourself, completely understand. So yes, absolutely, thank you. We will move on to the next item in our agenda, and that is communications. So, Ms. Takahashi.
Sure, I'm happy to introduce Gemma Tashinsky from Clifton, Larson, and Allen, who will provide a report on the results of our financial and bond audits.
Great. Thank you. Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us here this evening to go over the results of the audit. We were engaged. I'm Gemma Tashinsky. I'm a principal with Clifton Larson Allen, and I led the financial audit, and Tina Henton is here with me this evening. She's also a principal. She led the bond audit. So we were engaged to perform the 2020-21 audits of district's financial statements and bond measures, and our audit process is a very collaborative process that includes kind of a year-long process of discussion with management, your audit committee, the beginning and throughout and to the conclusion of the audit. And these discussions include not just the audit plan, but also scope, responsibility, and at the conclusion, reviewing the financial statements and the report that's presented this evening that you have in your packet. These communications are required by our standards, and they help to ensure that we are and maintain our professional independence and skepticism. So management's responsible for the fair presentation of the financial statements. As your auditors, we're responsible to express an opinion based on our audit. So our audit includes obtaining evidence for the amounts and disclosures in those financial statements. We perform procedures based on our judgment, taking into consideration the various risks, the internal control environment, and estimates in place. Tests of compliance related to various states. So the Education Audit Appeals Panel issues a state compliance guide each year. The Office Management Budget issues the federal guide, and so we follow those two guides in performing those components of our audit. So when you look at the financials, you'll see on page 2 that we've issued an unmodified opinion on the district's financial statements. This is the highest opinion a CPA can render. It means that we believe the financial statements are fairly stated and informed reader can rely on the information. One of the things I'll point out for this year is that there was a new accounting standard that was required to be adopted, GASB Statement 84 on fiduciary activities. And so what you'll see differently this year is that your Associated student body activity used to be reported on a separate schedule. As a fiduciary activity, it's now incorporated with your other fund reporting in Fund 08, part of your non-major group of funds, so part of the basic financial statements. So that was a shift that happened this year, and so it's very consistent from school district to school district. There was the option to report it as a special revenue fund or part of the general fund. Your district decided to report it as a special revenue fund. Other significant things to note in the financials when you look at the government-wide financial statements, you'll see that the pension and the OPEB liabilities continue to grow. And so that results in a negative net position on your government-wide statements. But that is normal for all school districts, so you're going to see that as you look at just other district financial statements. It's a result of those, the requirement to record those liabilities on those full accrual statements. From the general fund perspective, we always look to see that you're meeting your reserve level. You've met the required 2% reserve. Your adopted budget anticipates exceeding the 2% as well. As part of the audit, we're always looking to, again, to make sure the financial statements are fairly stated. This year there were no audit adjustments. So the information you see, although it's in a different format, it's the same information that was presented by management in your unaudited actuals way back in September. So that's a credit to your fiscal team. That means that as they walk through the closed process and through the year, they're performing their reconciliations. They're making sure that things are being recorded appropriately. Also, I want to point out there were no findings related to the financial statements, your state awards or your federal awards. Page 87 specifically lists all the state programs that we were required to test. Really the big significant change this year was looking at distance learning. It was something new that everybody was learning about, including the auditors. And so we worked with management to make sure that we collected all the data we needed to. We tested in that process 10 sites. From each site, we had to test 40 students. From each student, we had to test every teacher that they attended class with. So for our elementary schools, that's one teacher, but when we got to the middle schools and the high schools, we were testing multiple teachers for each student. So it was a lot of information to process for the district and to provide for us. This year, in terms of your federal audit, we tested your child nutrition program. That was part of our normal rotation, but with the CARES Act funding, there were some new programs we needed to test. That included the Child and Adult Care Food Program, your Learning Loss Mitigation funding, and your ESSER or ESSER and GEAR funding. So again, no audit findings as a result of that part of our audit. I'll go ahead and move on to the bond audit. We performed a financial and performance audit for both Measure K and Measure E. We again issued an unmodified opinion on the financial audit and did not identify any non-compliant expenditures during our performance audit. We tested 12 million of expenditures for Measure K. We tested 33.2 million of expenditures for Measure E. There's a lot more activity going on there, more money to spend. And for the expenditures tested, transactions met the requirements of both Measure K and Measure E as applicable, and there were no internal control deficiencies noted. So with that, I want to publicly thank everybody who helped us during the audit process. It's again, a year-long process. We touch a lot of people in the process. So I do want to thank Yumi and her team, especially Susan Ginder, Renee Arcus, Jennifer Gear, Sarah Slater on the facility side and her team, and just a whole bunch of people that we come in contact to. And also audit committee. So today and during the process, we've met with your audit committee board president, Care, and so she was part of the process as well. So with that, I'll take any questions that anybody might have about the audit process or the results of our audit.
Thank you for that. And just to clarify, two separate items, independent audit report and separate item, financial performance audit for measures K and E that you gave us summary highlights from, correct?
Right.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, we have them listed as 13.1 and 13.2. So colleagues, any questions, thoughts? Mr. Miller,
Yeah, mine is an easy one, and it's actually for you.
how much money do we got?
Huh?
How much money do we got?
That's also a Yumi question. No, just from a transparency perspective, can you tell us, for the public, where these audits are available?
So we post our audits on our budget documents website that resides on the LBUSD website, so anyone can look and find the audits for all the years that we've had to conduct them.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions or thoughts, colleagues? So thank you to our audit committee. I'm gonna do a little play with words here. You used the word tested, right, referencing that there were no findings for those items that you tested. So in other words, we have a clean bill of health here through no findings, correct?
We have a clean audit. There was nothing that came to our attention that would need to be reported, and so that means you have, procedures in place and internal controls in place. And our primary focus is looking at disbursements, payroll, cash receipting processes. So, and then on the compliance side, looking to see, how do you manage and ensure that you're spending money appropriately, whatever the category might be. So yeah, I would say clean bill of health, unmodified opinion.
Thank you, and thank you, Yumi, to you and your team, and to the folks on our audit committee as well. So thank you.
Thank you.
So we will move on to item 14 on our agenda, recognitions and acknowledgements, and student, staff, and school celebrations. Mr. Itzen?
Hi, I'm Cynthia C.D. Baca. I'm a sign language interpreter, one of 15 here at Long Beach Unified School District. I've been working here for 24 years. I'm a mom and a wife. I actually married a deaf man, and I have 2 great kids. I myself grew up here in Long Beach Unified. I went through Newcomb Elementary and Millikan High School, so I'm a product of Long Beach Unified School District. I've always been fascinated with sign language, and when I started college at Golden West in Huntington, I took a sign language class, and several other students there wanted to be interpreters. And at that time, I didn't know exactly what an interpreter was. But as I went through the classes, I just fell in love with the language and all the possibilities and different things that an interpreter can do. And then I landed here at Long Beach Unified. Wherever there's a need, or for a student who's deaf is involved, they will send interpreters, and so I've done all kinds of things. I love being able to interact with the students, because there's different roles as an interpreter, but in education, you're more fortunate because you're able to collaborate with the teachers and the staff and the students, and it's not as formal. You can tell by that child's expression, like, wait a minute, I either didn't make myself clear, or they need to ask the teacher for more clarification, and I'm there to help with that communication. There are so many different opportunities and needs out there, and they're really trying to get those met for the accessibility for everyone. I just look forward to working here many, many years from now.
Wow, how awesome. Cynthia is both being featured and she's interpreting for herself. Thank you, Cynthia, and thank you for that feature, Mr. Itzen. That touched me today. I want to also acknowledge we have Cheryl Bender, Commissioner from PERS, here with us today. Welcome, Cheryl. Thank you for joining us tonight. So we will move on to item 15, public testimony on items listed on our agenda. We have no public testimony. I didn't receive any forms, right, Leticia? Okay, thank you. And so then we will move to public testimony on items not listed on our agenda. Mr. Suarez, can we invite our first speaker up?
TV's not working, you'll have 3 minutes and you'll see the time that you're counting down.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, welcome.
Hello. May I begin?
Yes, please.
Okay. My name is Julianne Beebe, and I am proud to say that I have been an English teacher at Polytechnic High School in the Long Beach Unified School District for the past 16 years. Over my years, I have witnessed my students accomplish extraordinary things. For some, that has meant simply finding their way back to a path towards graduation. For others, that has meant winning prestigious awards and earning acceptances into colleges and universities around the country. These students were able to achieve these dreams in part because Long Beach Unified is a district that has always believed in and does right by their students. Currently, the student-led Green Schools campaign is yet another manifestation of the caliber of student Long Beach Unified nurturers, a dedicated group of young people who represents the best in us. These students recognize the urgent need for the transition away from fossil fuel reliant energy to clean energy, understanding all too well that time is running out. Indeed, according to the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, we need to stop adding carbon dioxide to the atmosphere by 2050 in order to have any hope of keeping warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. As a coalition of conscientious and empathetic individuals wanting to do their part for the sake of their generation and for the generations that follow, these students provide a golden opportunity for Long Beach Unified to work with them through the transition to clean energy, and in so doing, demonstrate on both a local and global scale that Long Beach Unified continues to stand as a district that puts students first. So I am here on behalf of myself as a teacher and have a list of teachers from Polytechnic that have signed on to this as well, including Patrick G., Michael G., Tiffany A., Laura L., Eric R., Jeff M., Kim F., James C., Brian D., Amy M., Dan A., Sarah R., Adrian H., Ron S., Catherine T., and Christine T. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Please keep mask on.
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Mike Zwerner. I'm the general manager of Agerman. We are the largest organics recycler in the state of California, recycling over 1 million tons of organic waste annually. Organic waste includes wood waste, green waste, and food waste, and we process that waste into soil amendments, mulches, and other products for agriculture and landscape, as well as waste-to-energy solutions. I'm here to express my support for a 100% clean renewable energy resolution at LBUSD that commits the district to clean energy in the electricity sector by 2030, as well as other energy sectors by 2040. Given my career in organic recycling, I've dedicated the past 10 years of my life to creating a more sustainable future. Most recently, myself and my other colleagues have been helping cities and communities plan for compliance with State Bill 1383, which is a climate change bill banning or reducing organics and diverting it from the landfill, including all residential and commercial organic waste. I believe that reducing greenhouse gases leads to a cleaner air that improves student staff performance and health, a more resilient community cost savings that can be reinvested into underserved students. I firmly believe that LBUSD should be committing to clean energy, and it is an important step in getting this ball rolling. While I am here representing as a parent, I have 2 daughters at Long Beach Poly High School, and while I am not alone, there are hundreds of other parents and people who share my vision, including Darcy F., Blair S., Maria R., Robert P. And I will end with, I firmly believe that this is a very goal that the LBUSD should be seriously considering, and I hope to see some movement in this in the near future. Thank you very much for your time, and good evening.
Thank you.
You're going to introduce yourself, and you have 3 minutes on the timer.
Okay, great.
Good evening, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Lilian Villa Quintero, and I'm here to speak as an involved parent and president of Polytechnic High School's PTSA, regarding fossil fuels in our schools. With new generations being brought up, along with our students at Long Beach Unified School District, the air we breathe is becoming more and more contaminated as we speak. I am aware of the environmental impacts fossil fuels bring to our world, and it is agonizing to see these effects more commonly wrapped into our lives. Sometimes I feel that one does not even stop to think how much they affect our world and our children. We as adults should join our younger generations in forging a change, not only for us, but for their benefit in the future. Imagine our world with this continuously rising temperature and maybe even one day not even being able to breathe clean air. It is surreal to imagine it, yet if we continue on this path, one day sadly this may be the case. I have been inspired by young men and women standing up to make a change. These bright, intelligent young people are already realizing a change must be made and are inspiring us to join them as well. As part of the Green Schools campaign, our goal is to transition Long Beach Unified School District into 100% clean energy in the electricity sector by 2030, and in all other energy sectors by 2040. As Mahatma Gandhi said, "Be the change you wish to be in the world." Long Beach Unified School District, let's take this chance and help create a better place for our future and our students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Introduce yourself, and you have 3 minutes on the timers.
Okay.
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Matt Odette, and I have 2 children who go to school in Long Beach. I work in corporate finance, and specifically I work with companies to raise financing for power generation projects. I'd like to share my perspective from my experience in this industry as it pertains to the Green Schools resolution. I haven't heard many objections from the board to the resolution's ultimate goal of moving to 100% renewable energy. Rather, I've heard concerns about the cost of the transition. These are misguided. First, the cost of renewable energy technology has plummeted over the past decade. In 2010, the cost of solar energy was about $380 per unit. In 2020, that number is $57, a decline of 85%. We've seen similar trends in other renewable sectors, while fossil fuel energy has actually gotten more expensive due to higher fuel prices. Personally, I am glad that the pioneers of the renewable industry did not flinch at the costs, but focused instead on driving them down. More importantly, this is not a question of whether, but when. The country is moving inexorably to a green electricity grid. Since 2010, renewable generation capacity has gone from 12% to 25%, doubled, or more than doubled. Enormous amounts of capital are pouring into the sector, not only in power, which is relatively straightforward, but in areas of the economy that are trickier to decarbonize, like heating gas or transportation. Closer to home in California, the 1 millionth electric vehicle was just sold last year. And I can tell you from my own experience that clients who had never looked at a renewable energy project, that had only looked at fossil fuels, are now 100% focused on renewables. School districts have embraced this trend as well. Large districts, including San Francisco, Los Angeles, and Miami, have adopted resolutions calling for carbon neutrality or 100% renewable power. More than 7,000 schools across the country have installed solar panels. There isn't any doubt that LBUSD will incur costs in transitioning to renewable energy. That's inevitable when replacing obsolete equipment. There is even less doubt that the district will need to do so eventually, and sooner than later. Public pressure, regulation, the need to replace old equipment, and simple economics will force the issue. As leaders, it is your job to plan for the future. Adopting this resolution is at least a step in that direction. Continued hesitation and delay will only compound the problem. LBUSD is emitting tons of carbon every day. The young people outside who are driving this campaign have the least amount of power in our society. And at the same time, they're going to suffer the most from climate change. You're in a position of power, and I call upon you to use that power on their behalf. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening, welcome.
Good evening. Hi, my name is Elliot Gonzalez. I'm a member of the Sierra Club, and I'm with My Generation Sierra Club. We're here to support the youth who are outside fighting for solar energy, fighting for their future, fighting for climate change. They're aware that the air is so bad that there's children who get asthma. People get cancer from just breathing the air. The planet is warming up. So these youth are seriously concerned about their future and the air that they breathe, and they're asking the school district to enact some responsibility for its own emissions and to ensure that the campuses move towards sustainability on the best interests of these youth and their future. And the organization I'm with, Sierra Club, as well as other organizations, Sunrise, Long Beach, we're all here in full support of these youth for demonstrating the courage that the future is going to need. Organizations like LA Climate Reality Project, Orange County Climate Reality Project, Long Beach Council PTA, LA County Electric Bus, Truck and Bus Coalition, Green Grid Alternatives, Greater Los Angeles, One Earth Long Beach, Perma City, Sierra Club, My Generation, the California Democratic Party Environmental Caucus, Sunrise Long Beach, Sunrise LA, Sunrise Orange County, Youth Climate Strike LA, International Green Schools Campaign, Longfellow Elementary PTA, Care Closet LBC, Manhattan Unified School District, and the list goes on. I want to submit a copy of this to the secretary, whoever that person may be. I'd like to submit these for each board member. And basically, I think the youth have made their point, and now they're out here talking with the teachers, and everyone's getting each other riled up. And I hope that this board will be supportive of its teachers, will be supportive of its students, will be supportive of the community that is putting pressure on the board to do what is in the best interest of students and teachers. And right now, they're organizing for their future. They're organizing for clean air, and they're asking that this board do what is ethical and responsible, empower the school district using sustainable energy, and that they make the commitment to clean energy now. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know there's 3 minutes, and introduce yourself.
Good evening, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Viola Mae Bledsoe. I'm a paraeducator with the district. Been here 30 years. Don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon unless I really have to, because I can no longer afford to live here. Just to let you know that because of not getting paid, the workload that some instructional aides are having to deal with, some of the IOAs in the schools, especially at high school level, the workload has almost tripled to 4 times the amount of work. I personally work in an MM class, which is a mild to moderate, and I keep constantly getting pulled out to work in the MS mild to severe classes because there they have students that have one-on-ones, and they don't have enough one-on-ones to cover them. So they're out of compliance of IEPs because they can't get subs, they can't get the aides to come in. So now there have been days when I've been pulled out of my class, been with a student for half a period, and then get told to go to another MS class to cover this student. A couple times last week, I was in 4 or 5 different classes in one day doing different jobs. And I'm not the only one. This is going on all over the district. And it's the same way with the office staff. When 4 years ago at Cabrillo, we had 7 or 8 IOAs. We're down to 4. And occasionally we get a sub, and occasionally we don't. So everybody is kind of trying to get everything done, and it's not working very well. There's a lot of things, a lot of reports that the office staff has to do that aren't getting done. We need a living wage to be able to get people to come in and work for this district. And on another note, for those of you on the board, you were put there by the voters of Long Beach. I am one of those people. I also help work on campaigns as a political PAC for CSEA, and I can guarantee you things are going to be different with how we decide who we're going to vote for if we don't start getting some respect from this district for classified employees, our workload, our wages, and just generally in respect in how we're treated at the work site. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, board members. I'm Enrique Chavez, the CSEA Unit AVP. I'm here on a non-agenda negotiations topic. Board members, the reason that I'm here is not only is this spreading out to our students and our teachers, but it's spilling out to our neighbors. I had really good conversations with my neighbors, and this is what they told me. We pay really high taxes here in Long Beach, and they include a lot of that money goes to the school district. And so their question is, if that money is not being used to support our students and the employees, the questions they were bringing up to me is, why will we continue to support measures and bonds? So it's getting the attention of the neighborhoods. It's getting the attention of everybody. Again, we did see the superintendent's response video. Again, I would like to state that why are we playing math games? We were offered 3%, and 2% is a bonus. So 3 plus 2 does equal 5, but you can give us a 15% bonus. That's still not a raise. So again, we would like to make it clear we've only been offered a 3%. So again, board members, a lot of the membership has been letting us know that if the governor gave a 5.07 COLA to all the school districts, what is the district going to do with the extra 2.07 that they don't want to give us? And so a lot of the talk that's going on now is they want CSEA to start contacting the governor's office and let them know that Long Beach Unified is not releasing funds that were meant for classified and certificate employees. Thank you.
Thank you.
You have 3 minutes on the timer.
All right.
Good evening. Welcome.
Hi, Sergio Bonilla again from CSEA Vice President. Anyhow, I'm here to talk about layoffs. So actually, the person that I talked to is Steve. He's here tonight. So let me start by saying that...
Mr. Bonilla, just make sure to direct your comments to the chair and not to any individual.
I apologize for that. But anyhow, so we talked about layoffs, and there was supposed to be no layoffs for the year 22-23. And anyhow, we have this memorialized in our notes. And so all of a sudden, I found out that I'm being laid off, which is quite interesting because we spoke about the opposite effect. Anyhow, with that said, I'm just concerned about the fact that we have a law in place. It's called Assembly Bill 438. It took effect January the 1st, and right away the law is being broken. So it's either a lack of training for the administrators that are taking it upon themselves to lay off people. You see, I'm going to show you the chart here, and it's very clear. There's 11 steps that you have to take in order to lay somebody off. This person jumped from here all the way down here. So with that said, I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to proceed with it, meaning that the law has been broken and it has to be ratified. I'm not going to wind up displacing somebody else, and I wanted to say that if you are one of the trainers for, let's say, the principals, you need to do a better job. I mean, because they go to countless principals meetings, and if you know this law is coming down the pipeline, you should be knowledgeable in the fact that you can't just take one step and wind up going to the last step. With that said, I want to make sure that you guys understand that we're still in negotiations. We actually did ratify this with you guys, and we need a raise. So anyways, with that said, I have 26 seconds left, and I'm done for right now. Thank you so much.
Thank
Have
you.
a good evening.
You too, thank you.
Please introduce yourself.
Good evening, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening. My name is Karen Foote, a 30-year employee of the school district, resident of Long Beach. Here speaking, my job is an instructional aide, special education. So an employee, somebody just out of high school could go to Costco, make $17 an hour with full medical and full-time hours. They could go to In-N-Out Burger and make $17.25 an hour with full medical and full-time hours. And they could go to Marriott downtown Long Beach, make $19.25 an hour. These are all starting pay, and full-time medical and full-time hours. Come to the Long Beach Unified School District, you need a 2-year degree to make $17.61 an hour with no medical benefits and 3.8 hours a day. I just find it very ironic that an educational institution such as Long Beach would not reward the college education for employees who got one. They treat it as basically a minimum wage job, more or less. Go to college, don't get compensated for it. I find that just crazy. So because of these actions, our special education students are not receiving the support that they need and deserve in their classrooms, because 3.8 hours a day equals an ongoing staffing shortage. Nobody really wants these jobs. You need to fix it. So, moving on, the superintendent believed that she deserved her $58,000 raise. That was just her raise. And by the way, that's $17,000 more than I make in an entire year. And so I believe that our employees, our classified, deserve a 7% increase just to keep up with the cost of living. If you want to attract employees to work with our kids, which you can't run a district without people, you have to pay them. So I think you're shooting yourself in the foot when you don't give it, an adequate raise. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Good evening, welcome.
Please introduce yourself.
Okay. Hello, my name is Anthony Kruzik. I'm the Unit B Vice President for CACA Chapter 2. Today I'm here to address you. Our concerns have been stated many and numerous times. I'd just like to cover some points real fast. The district has come out in a video, in a podcast interview, and said that there's been presentations made in compensation. We'd like to clarify that record. The first presentation for compensation was done by CSEA. The district tried to shut down negotiations without first realizing compensation was on the table because we knew that the teachers were getting theirs. Secondly, the district continuously says that their financial district is financially losing money. On that topic, then as the fiduciary responsibility of this board to the taxpayers, the parents, and the students, I would presume that they will be rescinding the raises that have been issued until the district is financially stable to pay everybody. The only other thing I'd like to say at this point is you have people out here protesting. You have people in the district talking about walking out. We don't want to walk, but when people are pushed into a corner and they have no other resources or reserves or things that they can turn to, it may say you can't strike, but that doesn't mean we won't strike. It's an issue that needs to be addressed, that words are nice, but they don't pay the bills. Since 1969 and a resolution from this board, we've been hearing the same platitudes. You're essential, you're wanted, you're desired. We're tired. Words are not going to cut it anymore. Your classified staff is educating itself, it's becoming vocal, it's found its voice, and it will no longer just sit by idly and accept those platitudes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, welcome.
Greetings, board members. Sorry. Greeting Board President Dr. Juan Benitez, board members, Superintendent Dr. Jill Baker, and executive staff. This is not an agenda item for February 2nd. My name is Anthony T. Guerrero, and I am the youth peer leader and a product of the Long Beach Unified School District. First, I would like to thank the school board, the superintendent, executive staff, the principals, teachers, and the staff for their daily hard work to ensure that all students are safe and get a quality education during the school. This national health crisis has been very difficult for a lot of people in this community, and the parents appreciate your hard work during these difficult times. The importance of advancing equity in our community comes from the progression we see in our schools. This is why it is essential that Long Beach Unified School District continues to take initiatives intended on addressing the needs of students of diverse ethnic ancestries in our Long Beach community for the purpose of eliminating the achievement gap for all students. Language access is a necessity, and it can be met by the district granting students the opportunity to learn and be fluent in their languages. In addition, allocating the necessary budgets to multilingual programs and services will ensure that these initiatives are being implemented with full effectiveness and efficiency. This shows the needs of every student are being met. We will follow up on the progress of the Long Beach Unified School District's plan to ensure these achievements are being met. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. So I want to thank all the members of our community for coming out and providing public comment today. As always, we encourage all of our community members, stakeholders, students, staff, and employees to engage with us, and we are listening intently. I wanted to note that some of the members of our leadership team, including Dr. Baker, Vice President Kerr, and myself, will be meeting with the Green Schools campaign next week. So that concludes public testimony on items not listed on the agenda. Next item, staff report, we have none. So we will move on to business items. Mr. Miller, certificated personnel report.
All right. I present the following proposed actions prepared by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource Services, approved and recommended by the Superintendent. For certificated personnel appointments, we have 297. In-service changes, we have 26. Leaves of absence, we have 1. Separations or deceased, we had 1. Resignations, we had 2. And retirements, we had 7. That's for certificated personnel.
Move approval.
Second. Any discussion?
Yes, I was hoping our friend David can give us a little bit of a background on the 297 appointments.
Sure. So just to break down that number just a little bit, 297 is inclusive of 264 special contract to regular contract conversions, which is really good news for quite a few of our K-12 teachers. That number also includes 6 special contracts and then 27 new hires of substitutes. So that's the breakdown of that 297 in terms of appointments.
Thank you, Mr. Zaid. That's great news for us. Hopefully we continue in that direction. Any other discussion? We'll do our roll call vote. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that item passes 5-0. Classified personnel report.
Once again, I present the following proposed actions prepared by the Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource Services, approved and recommended by the Superintendent. For classified and exempt personnel, appointments, we have 33. Leaves of absence, we have 8. Resignations, we have 20. And retirements, we have 5. That's for classified and exempt personnel.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So that item passes 5-0. Instruction report.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Take a vote. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So our instruction report item passes 5-0. Finance report A.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. So that item passes 5-0. Finance report B.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I recuse myself from participation in Finance Report B on the consent calendar. I have a potential financial interest under Government Code 1091 and 87100. My husband works for a subcontractor who has done work for the payees.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr. Any further discussion? Do a roll call vote. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. That passes 4-0 with 1 abstention. Business Department report.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll do our roll call. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. That passes 5-0. Last item under business, purchasing and contracts report.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that passes 5-0. We will move on to other items, superintendent items. Dr. Baker, student discipline?
Thank you. I have 2 expulsions to recommend tonight. The first is student number 570. The student would be expelled under Education Codes 48900B and would not be eligible to apply for readmission until after June 15, 2022. However, Student Placement Services has made the recommendation that the student be expelled with the consideration for a suspended expulsion with an opportunity to attend another school in LBUSD.
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? We'll take our roll call vote. Mr. Otto?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that item passes 5-0.
Thank you. The second student is student number 446. This student would be expelled under Education Codes 48900B and would not be eligible to apply for readmission until after June 15, 2022. However, Student Placement Services has made the recommendation that the student be expelled with a consideration for a suspended expulsion with an opportunity to attend another school within LBUSD.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
Any discussion? Let's take a vote. Mr. Otto?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
I also vote aye. That passes 5-0.
And lastly, I have one recommendation for readmission on a lighter and more positive note. I'm pleased to recommend that the expulsion of the following student, number 756, be lifted, and that the student is assigned to a school program as recommended.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
Discussion. Dr. Baker, good news indeed, right? Can you speak a little bit about our process of expulsion and readmission?
Sure. We have an office that handles discipline matters, both students who are being recommended for expulsion as well as readmission. I can tell you that it's a very personalized process of an administrator that works with families, both those who are being recommended for expulsion and those who are readmitting. In most cases, a student who is being recommended for expulsion, there is a plan made for support to that in the form of direct intervention at the school level. It also includes supports for families. In other cases, there are contracts that students have to meet the requirements of to be recommended for readmission, as in the case of the student tonight, has met all of the qualifications of that contract and has gone through a process of being coached and taught in a classroom in a way that reflects their readiness to be readmitted.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. And so congratulations to our readmitted
Yes.
students once we, I assume, take this positive vote. Any further discussion? Let's take our vote. Mr. Otto?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye, so that item and readmission passes 5-0. Any other items, Dr. Baker?
That's it for me tonight for votes.
Okay, so under unfinished business, we have none. New business. Resolution number 020222-A, a resolution of the Governing Board of Education of the Long Beach Unified School District of Los Angeles County relating to the candidate statement and cost for governing board election for governing board election called for June 7th, 2022. We passed an item at our last board meeting setting our elections, and so this is related to that, right, Ms. Takahashi?
Yes, this is a standard resolution that we ask you to approve in every election cycle, this being the June 7th primary. This resolution essentially affirms the process and cost related to candidate statements.
Thank you. Do we have a motion?
Move approval?
Second.
Any discussion? I actually have a related question, Ms. Takahashi. Do we have the latest approved maps that came out of redistricting?
They were approved by City Council and forwarded to the LA County Registrar of Voters.
Okay, are those available on our district website?
They should be, yes, and are they, James? Yes, map 2.
Okay, just an FYI that we did approve or recommend to City Council, they approved
Yes.
those maps. So those
Yes.
are our latest, most updated redistricting maps.
Correct.
That determine the 5 areas.
Correct.
And particularly for our 3 areas that are up for this primary in June.
Correct.
Okay, any?
James can probably tell you your website.
Oh, yes, Mr. Suarez, what's our website for those maps?
Well, we know it's lbschools.net/district, but it's still up and ready to be seen.
Okay, so speaking of, I would suggest, since we did approve and those have been forwarded, that those be made available through our Board of Education website, not just through redistricting. If we can have that done. In the past, our board areas were attached to our Board of Education office, and then under each of our respective areas, we did have our updated maps. So is that something that we can do?
The site has been updated with all of your schools represented. I'm not sure if the maps are on them, but we can certainly put it on.
I think that would be important. Thank you, Mr. Suarez. Any further discussion? Okay, so actually, I gotta take a vote here. Mr. Otto, how do you vote?
Aye.
Ms. Craighead?
Aye.
Ms. Kerr?
Aye.
Mr. Miller?
Aye.
And I also vote aye. I love how Mr. Miller and Mr. Otto are like, we're not up for re-election right now. So I vote aye. That passes 5-0. Thank you, Ms. Takahashi. We are on to report of board members. I thought I had missed something here. Vice President, you want to start us off?
Sure. I think I already talked a little bit when our student board member was here about our meeting, our trip to Jordan. So the board historically has made an effort to engage at a school site around different things, from curriculum, new programming, and so we go when we visit and we get to talk to students and staff and teachers. And this time we knew that the safest route was to not be in classrooms and to let students learn. So we took a tour of the facilities and looked at the construction that really began in 2013, 2014 from Jordan High School. And Miss Irving and Michelle and Rachel, the ASB coordinator and counselor, have done an amazing job and really have taken on the change the narrative theme. And they're doing an incredible job. As you heard from the student board member tonight, there is such a wonderful sense of community engagement and involvement. And having the senior staff there as well as the board for them to show off the great things happening was really a great moment for a school that I am so proud and a community that I'm so proud to represent. So kudos to all of them. Thank you for opening their home during the day to us, and we look forward to what continues to evolve into a really amazing campus for a great community.
Thank you, Ms. Kerr. Ms. Craighead?
Thank you. I'd like to start by congratulating Dr. Erin Simon because she was, I try to do it without my glasses not happening. She's our Assistant Superintendent of School Support Services, and she is the recipient of the California School Nurses Organization Southern Section Partner in Education and School Nursing Award. So congratulations. Dr. Simon has been awarded this recognition for her unwavering support of school nurses and her dedication to student health services, so thank you. Let's see. Last Sunday, the Lakewood NJROTC drill teams competed in the final area qualifying meet. They finished 4th overall out of 14 teams, and therefore qualified for the Area 11 Drill Championship meet. That's a mouthful. In addition to 4th place overall, the cadets placed 2nd overall in athletics, 1st in color guard, 2nd in armed basic drill, 2nd in curl-ups, 2nd in push-ups, and 3rd in overall drill. And this was Lakewood's first appearance at this competition since 2018. So none of the cadets that competed have competed in this competition before. So this was everybody's first time out, and with a long list of accomplishments and awards. So congratulations to them. And then finally, Happy Lunar New Year to everyone. It's the Year of the Tiger. And in honor of Black History Month, did you know that the black middle class in the 1800s formed literary societies? And these were social gatherings to promote reading and writing skills, not just for individuals, but for each other. And they came together as groups. I think that's a wonderful idea, and I would challenge us to learn new facts outside of the, what we already know. I know we uplift, and rightfully so, the teachings and ideology of Dr. Martin Luther King, but there's so much more to Black history. So I would challenge everybody to learn a little something new this month in honor of Black History Month. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Craighead. Mr. Miller.
Thank you, and I'll piggyback those sentiments here as we're in the second day of Black History Month, where we spend this time to acknowledge the accomplishments of the African American community within the United States. And more importantly, I think that this time period should be celebrated and acknowledged not just as Black history, but as American history. And often we try to create this separation, but I think that there needs to be a clear meld of the two. As in all honesty, just fully transparent here, this country has often created separation between multiple cultures, and I think that the African American community needs to clearly be acknowledged as one of the essential cultures in the fabric of the building of this country. So, all things considered, day 2. And so we're really excited. I know that there's multiple programs going on throughout the city of Long Beach, one of which is happening at the African American Cultural Center, which I don't have all of the details to, but I'll make sure I have them by the next board meeting. But all things considered, a lot of good things going on this month. Next, I wanted to talk about the celebration of our students. We ended the semester, and it was a big one for a lot of students. There's going to be some students that are celebrating because how well they persevered through this semester, and then there's going to be some that need to do some credit recovery. So I'm going to implore our parents and our students that are in that position of needing to readjust to make sure that they have those conversations with their counselors to be prepared for such. And last but not least, you've already discussed it in regards to our redistricting. And so I have 4 new schools in my district. So I'm excited to add them to the District 2 team. And this time of year, like I did last year, I'll be doing my tours, and this year it won't have to be virtual. So I'm excited about that, and obviously those 4 schools will be a part of it. So just wanted to acknowledge my new schools that under my umbrella here, and looking forward to having my tours. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Mr. Otto.
So this was a tough month, for Long Beach Unified. We opened, we had a lot of absentees, we had a lot of teachers that were ill or unable to come to school, and it looked like a bleak month from the beginning. But through the hard work of everyone in the district, and by everyone I mean the staff, the senior leadership staff, the teachers, the classified staff, we've been able to slowly but surely get back, not quite to normal, but close to normal. And that's a real accomplishment. And I think that we all ought to look at each other and say that we're doing the work that we're supposed to do. And so congratulations to everybody for all this work. Second and really last, I was going to ask that we adjourn this meeting in honor of Anthony Tortorisi, who was a very close friend of mine. He went to Brown University, was all but dissertationed at USC in operations research, was in the United States Navy. I met him on the Long Beach Planning Commission a long time ago. He worked for the LA Community College District. He worked for the LA Unified School District. He then became the head of community colleges in the state of Washington. He was a polymath. He was the best read man that I knew. He was married to Kay Tortorisi, who was the librarian at Poly High School for a long time, and he died unexpectedly last night. And so if we could adjourn to his honor, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Otto. And our hearts and prayers go out to his loved ones, and we're very sorry for your loss, Mr. Otto. Mr. Craig? I thought you wanted to say something. Okay. So we'll make sure to adjourn in his honor. I will just add a few things about our Jordan visit last week and highlight the importance that our facilities play in our educational mission. Board member Kerr and in some ways all of us that visited really have been trying to lift up the changing the narrative, right? Culture that Principal Irving has been utilizing the last 2 years. And a big part of that, as expressed by the students, is around what pride students have and community members have in, quite frankly, changing the stigma from within, but also from outside of that neighborhood and those communities about what that school looks like and looked like, and around expectations and perceptions and perspectives about the students and the individuals at the school, but also as a reflection of a product of place in North Long Beach. So, you know, when I emphasized earlier today with America giving her school member, student school board member report, the visit there and the conversations with our educators and learning about pathways and the importance of facilities play really, the whole context was students' perspectives of that. And one student in particular, and I'm not, I think America chimed in on this, shared that when she was going to go to school there, her mom didn't want her to go to school there because of what the mother thought about the school. And just in her time there, one of the questions that was asked is, you know, what has changed from your 9th grade to now, for those that are seniors, your experience today? And she said, highlighted that her mom was excited about one of her siblings going to Jordan. All right, so just within one family, one generation, changing the narrative, right, around expectations, around goals, around dreams, around the roles that schools play in our neighborhoods and our communities, we can see the impact that our facilities play, along with all the work that goes into maximizing our educational efforts through our facilities play in that. And I want to connect it to Black History Month, Mr. Miller. So this is an and moment for me. So of course it's important to celebrate the contributions and achievements of African Americans to the fabric of our country. But part of our educational mission is also to lift up and center the struggles and the activism that African Americans have played in this country, particularly around dismantling the structural racism that our systems and institutions play. And so when we pass policies like our equity policy in December, it's not just a reflection of building on the wonderful work that we're doing, but through those policies, through our curriculum, through our professional development, through the pillars of excellence and equity, that's also a way for us to celebrate Black History Month. So it's also through our systemic changes and through our individual contributions to those changes. So you're absolutely right, Mr. Miller. It's not just about the history of African Americans. It's also a reminder that we have a lot of work left to do, every single one of us, particularly around our educational mission here at the LBUSD. So I apologize. I'm sending some heart squeezes to Mr. Otto tonight. So that's my report for tonight. Of course, Board Member.
Thank you. I just wanted to add, because you're talking about facilities, I want to thank all of the folks who supported Measure K back in the day, all of our taxpayers that said yes to supporting our school bond initiative because we said we had needs. And it is Jordan High School renovation is the single largest investment of bond dollars in the district. And you saw a beautiful illustration with America Tonight about it isn't just about how it looks, but it's how it's made her feel. It's how she's been able to learn and how she's excited for her siblings to be able to learn. And that is an investment that this community said yes to by supporting that bond measure. So I want to thank everyone. I know I stepped out for a moment, but we did that audit. Do we spend the money the way we say we're going to spend the money? And that is a great example of not only in our audits, yes, we do, but it works for our students and their learning. So thank you to this community for supporting the facilities work in this district. I am eternally grateful on behalf of Jordan and all of the projects that are being supported with your tax dollars and bonds.
Thank you for that. Superintendent's report.
Thank you. I have a couple of things that will sound familiar to your reports, but that I'd just like to add on to. First, I want to acknowledge the approximately 20,000 students last week that were completing their finals. Had the opportunity to be in a number of schools, including alongside you in Jordan, and there was lots of studying, writing, reading, but also a big sense of relief. Something that I'm proud of this year, my student advisory, which is comprised of high school students from every high school, they had the idea to encourage their fellow students out at schools. And so the week prior in our meeting, they developed an infographic and some ways of encouraging other students that they put out across the district. And so I love the opportunity when our students can take action and do something about it right away, and they had that opportunity. So also appreciate, Mr. Miller, your statement about this being a fresh start. It really is, and it's one of the nice things about the semester, that students who either have struggled or just didn't like a class that they were in or needed a change, it is an opportunity for a fresh start. So just want to encourage all of our students out there to think of it that way and to start again. Couple other things that I had on my list. Wanted to just provide a small update about our locker room projects. The public as well as the board knows that the district has been in the planning process for several of our school swimming pools and locker room building projects. And so in an effort to ensure our community is really engaged and informed about these large-scale projects, we've made a decision to pause the current development of plans and review our community input process. So much more to come in that regard. We will have at the March board workshop, there will be an item around facilities to provide some more extensive update, but just wanted to publicly acknowledge that. On tonight's agenda, there are always small things. I know you all read and study your agenda, and you can tell when the voting happens the way that you have read everything, but I wanted to just acknowledge our Equity Engagement and Partnerships Office is hard at work around addressing and improving our language interpretation and translation and accessibility for families. So just a small line on tonight's agenda included the addition of another Khmer speaking staff member who will be providing Khmer translation for our families. And so just want to acknowledge that. And then lastly,
Small but big, Dr. Baker.
Small but big. Pardon me? Oh, I don't know if they're here, but they might be. If they're here, Mr. Nim, we're glad to have you. Is he here? Yeah, okay. That's great. And then lastly, I'm going to make a pitch. So next week we begin what are called community visioning sessions. They are the board's community visioning sessions. The first will be held on February 10th at 6 p.m. at Browning High School. There will be a whole release of information about this to families and community members. But for those who are interested, this is an opportunity to help us think about the next generation of our students and the Board of Education student outcome goals and our strategic plan that we'll be working on this spring. So next week's the beginning of a series of 5. It will be facilitated next week by Dr. Benitez and Mr. Otto with support from staff, but we welcome the public's participation in those visioning sessions in a way for them to provide future guidance to the aspirations of Long Beach Unified School District. And that's my report for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Baker. Any announcements?
You know what? I think I'd like to add that last Saturday we had a virtual education celebration, and all the information is still online. you can go to the website and you can click on whatever school you're interested in, elementary schools, middle schools, K-8 schools, and each school has a little video. And it's really interesting to see the videos that each school put forth. Some are set to music. I just happened to check out the Prisk video, and the music that it's set to is the Prisk song. Many years ago, there was a third grade teacher that wrote the song about the Prisk pioneers. Anyhow, that's the background music. I got a kick out of that. So I would encourage anybody, if you're interested in, registering for elementary school or middle school, to check our little videos online. They're really wonderful.
Thank you, Ms. Craighead. Any other announcements? Our next meeting is Wednesday, February 16th. Mr. Otto, will you do us the honor of adjourning tonight? Your mic, Mr. Otto?
I'd like to adjourn this meeting in honor of Anthony Tortorisi, who lived here in Long Beach, was a dear friend of mine, and accomplished person in his own right, and related to the Long Beach Unified School District by his marriage to Kay Tortorisi.
Thank you, Mr. Otto. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Good night.